How can somebody teach you how to write a song?
Well,
is there a structure that they
yeah,
teach?
there is. Songwriting is one of those things that you have to have a little bit of talent for. You have to have the inclination to do it to begin with. But it's also a craft that you can learn more about. It's like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the more strong it will become. And I found when I started going to the songwriting classes that I was already doing a lot of things inherently, and some good things and some bad things. But by studying song structures, things that people do right, learning what makes a good song work, the hook, things like that, you can really become a better songwriter. So people that just have a little bit of inclination for it, they can become better. You can teach people how to write a song.
I know you're terrible with lyrics. Maybe you should become a songwriter.
No, in Music City News, it came out one day this week, and in the back there was an ad for, it was like a dictionary, but it was lines that rhyme.
Yeah.
It was for songwriters, and I couldn't believe it. You actually, if you can't think of a line to go next, you just go through this little dictionary and look it up.
There are all kinds of
That was
tricks.
the first time I had ever seen that.
I have a rhyming dictionary, and if I write myself into a corner and I can't think of what should come next, I'll go get that and look for a rhyme, and I'll say, oh, witty, pity, okay, and it will work. And there are some tricks to help people write songs. One of the tricks that I have found successful for me, and I tell especially beginning songwriters, I will say, go get a song that you know and like. Write your own lyrics to it. Steal it. I mean, just listen to their music, write the lyrics. Then if you take that and give it to a musician, they will put new music to it. Don't tell them what song you wrote it to.
Yeah.
They will make a song that sounds completely different than what you wrote it to. So it's okay to use patterns and things like that. You know, if you listen to all the great songs, they all have some common threads in them.
Do you write with other people?
Predominantly, yes. And I recommend that highly, especially for young songwriters. It's like anything. If you play tennis with somebody that's a better tennis player than you, I write with, in particular, Lewis Brown is a gold record-winning songwriter. He's got 54 cuts. Gloria Ramsey has won almost every award that's in the world. And people like that make me write better. And I find that really when you write with somebody else, you will go above what you were able to do on your own.
Is it sort of an ego thing that you want to make sure they know that you got some talent too? Like if you're writing with Barry Reese, do you feel like that you need to really push yourself so Barry will know that you can help write a good song?
No, I think that collaboration, the key to it is going to be working with somebody that you feel comfortable with. Barry and I have, of course, we wrote the Song of the Year last year together.
Yeah.
And you have to, though, not be intimidated by the person, and you have to not hold back. You have to know that if you say something really stupid, they're not going to laugh at you. And you have to be willing to throw something stupid out, because you might have to throw out 20 idiotic ideas before you get the one that's really good. But you have to feel comfortable with a collaborator, or if you don't, they're not for you. I have written with some people that I would not write with again.
What makes you not want to write with somebody?
Either they were inflexible. That's the other thing. It's almost like a marriage when you're writing a song. You have to give and take a little. You get this one line, and I've written with people that, I don't know, they think they're Charlton Heston coming down with it carved on a tablet, and there's no way they're going to change that line. And so you have to have a partnership. And there's some people I've written with that didn't do that, or, they kind of pushed too far and weren't willing to give in.
Song of the Year that you and Barry wrote, so tell me about When Georgia Met California.
Okay, that is a song about a man from Georgia and a woman from California that meet in a snowstorm at the Denver airport. And the way it came about, Barry had started this song. He had part of a first verse, and he had a chorus, part of a chorus. And Barry and our wives, we were all eating Sunday lunch one day, and we got through eating. They had to go into town for a little while, and Barry said, "Listen to this little number I've got." And he played a couple of riffs on the guitar and sang a couple of words, and when he hit the chorus, every really killer song has a hook in it somewhere, whether it's lyrical or musical. And this song was going along during the first verse, and all of a sudden he hit the chorus, and it just went, "Where are you from and where are you going tonight?" And I went, ooh, that kind of hit a bell. And by the time they got back from the store an hour later, we had written the Song of the Year. We didn't know it yet at the time.
So we can sit back and be comfortable again, because I know you're sitting on the edge of the seat.
Well, you did tell him why I did this was because I was a terrible singer and player, right?
Okay, Dusty did this because he's a terrible singer and player.
Right. All right, this is called This Week with Danny Daniels.
Copyright.
Next year's Song of the Year.
Yeah.
Well, here I am tonight on Danny Daniels' TV show. WNGM in the Classic City, Channel 34, as you well know. I can tell this ain't Johnny Carson, Arsenio, or Letterman. Cause Rhonda's here and she's looking fine. Thank God she's not Ed McMahon. This week with Danny Daniels, it is the place to be. This week with Danny Daniels, don't touch that dial on your TV. Now my name is Dusty Gillen. I'm a songwriter, plain and clear. I warned you all I wasn't no singer now. You can hear that with your own ears. But I'll just do the best I can to finish up this little ditty. Cause my song, it's really not that bad. It's my singing that's a pity. This week with Danny Daniels, we're having fun, it's true. This week with Danny Daniels, he will chase away your blues.
I like that. Yeah, not a whole lot of difference between me and Carson and Letterman.
Yeah.
I make a lot more money.
Rhonda's
than
here.
Johnny
I hope.
does.
A lot better looking than Ed McMahon.
Yeah, it shouldn't take up quite as much room as he does either, since you went on her diet anyway.
Say what?
That's why we had to go to
That's
the
why
wide
they-
chairs.
you.
That's why they put the guests between us.
So just keep y'all apart.
I did
it could
hit
get
him
pretty
one night.
ugly.
Uh-oh, I've gone from guest to referee here.
What songs? You work on songs over an extended period of time, or do you like
Yes.
sit down and write it and go on to another one?
A little of both. It depends on, they come in different fashions. I have one that I did for the state of Wyoming. I didn't do it for them. It ended up being used during the Wyoming Centennial celebration of 1990. And I started writing that song in 1975 when I was living in Wyoming, and I ended up finishing it in 1990, so it took 15 years. This week with Danny Daniels, I wrote last Saturday morning or something like that.
Watching cartoons, probably.
Yeah, but some stay with you, and really that is the hardest thing to me for a beginner songwriter to do, is to rewrite a song. And it's also what makes the song the best. You have to write and rewrite, and the ones that I do write and rewrite come out the best. I have a rock and roll song I'm working on right now with a friend of mine named Glenn Chaney, and it's called It Was Good, and it's going to be our first stab at rock and roll. I have
How do you know it's rock and roll?
in my mind, I can hear a band like Poison or Cinderella singing it. I can hear it in my head.
Oh, all right.
And then you write the words to do that. I am primarily a lyricist. As you heard, I'm not a great musician. And so that gives me the advantage of being able to write almost any kind of music. I've got gospel, blues, rock and roll, of course country, which is my staple. And this will be my first stab at rock, heavy metal.
Okay, so when you sit down to write a song, do you say, I'm going to write me a gospel song, or I'm going to write a country song, or does it come to you and you realize what it is?
I like to start with the title of a song, and or a brief phrase, like when Barry and I did Georgia, California, and that will usually dictate what kind of song it's going to be. I think that one of the fallacies early songwriters have is they will finish a song and then you'll go, what's the name of that song? They'll, I don't know, I hadn't named it yet. And I go, well, I don't know what it's about then. I always imagine walking up and looking at a jukebox and seeing, you know, the little thing there, which one of these would attract my attention. So I like to start with song titles.
Okay, we've got a few seconds left. Tell me about the 13th annual